Well, this is dynamite material already, guys. I think it's going to be great.
All right, so hello and welcome. Thanks for joining us on the live stream album launch for the Shapeshifters. You all met at LCM. How did the band come together?
Yeah, we just started playing for fun initially. I think just kind of jamming. Anna, Steve and I got together just to play some standards, really. It just instantly felt really great. There was kind of an immediate rapport between everyone. It felt just really comfortable to play. And eventually, I guess, came to the decision that we wanted to make it a project, start playing some original material and just explore some concepts further as opposed to just jamming.
Anna, was it during college you guys sort of started this thing, or was it a little bit after?
Yeah, we've all played with each other loads over the years, but it was maybe 18 months, 2 years now that we started it. And we got together for this play, and we ended up playing like almost weekly, actually, like maybe weekly or bi-weekly for like 6 months or something, just because we were having a really good time and started to bring tunes in and stuff. It's probably the longest like gestation period of just having plays before you actually get to a gig for any project, for me, actually. Because normally you end up, like, you book the gig first, then you get everyone together. This was very much like, we were just playing for ages.
So obviously with the world pandemic, you were looking to tour last year and release this album about this time last year. That didn't happen. So what was it made you decide, screw it, let's get it out there?
We just want the music out there. We were really happy with the record. We want people to hear the music, want the band to kind of have more of a presence. There's only so much time you can sort of put things off for.
We've got to the point where we have started to do some gigs. We've already been playing this music out there. During the summer of 2020, when some of the restrictions were lifted, we had an incredible opportunity, to be able to do a couple of gigs and have some rehearsals, have some playing outside in the park. Why haven't I done that before in the summer? It's amazing. It was great. We could sit on this forever, and put it out when it's the right time. But looking in the not too distant future, when is going to be the right time?
Also, we've kind of, moved on from this record a bit. Kind of begun to introduce some new material, some new ideas. So I think we're hoping to, look forward and document some of this stuff as well now.
We want to share this music, and this is the way to do it right now.
This is one of my tunes called Dark Murmur, and this is taken from the Cellar live stream we did during one of the past lockdowns. If you enjoy it, the full thing is still up on the Cellar page, which you can check out.
So, Steve, what's like the ethos behind the band? What was it? What makes this different to the other outfits that you guys are playing in?
Like Anna said, so that we've all played together a lot in various different projects, and all coming from various different places along the way. And I think it was this sort of collective desire to kind of push the music that we were playing in the moment, to push the moment as far, as we possibly could. And whether that meant that we all went flying off the cliff, it didn't really matter, because we all knew that whatever crumpled pile, heap that we ended up at the bottom, we would always all end up there together anyway. It started to become this sort of thing where we all were so interested in taking risks. That was at the forefront of everything that we wanted to do and we wanted to play.
Is there any specific sort of music or bands or anything that you guys sort of point to and go and sort of went, that's the thing we're trying to do here?
Like, we all have our own personal heroes, but we definitely didn't come into the project with a specific idea in mind. It definitely came about from like our own musical natures, I think, coming together.
Yeah, so it's something that sort of came out of just experiment and actually just playing together.
We all have such a wide range of influences coming from so many different places, and I think if anyone's interested in checking that out, we've got a Spotify playlist that we've curated. We're all such good friends, and I think that's kind of what took this beyond just being a project or just being an excuse to get together to play. There was a lot more of a personal element towards this and therefore the music, and I think it's about trust. It's about that relationship that we all have on a personal level, that we're able to, the music's able to go in any direction whenever it needs to, because like I said, we're all going in that direction together.
It's good to be able to have those conversations within a band where you're not sort of pussyfooting around other people's, worried about offending people or anything like that, and sort of sometimes the music can get a little bit diluted when that happens, because you're sort of maybe conscious of offending anyone in any kind of way, whereas if you're already friends, then it's a lot easier to say, that was shit, let's do that again, like with and I think it probably helps. Do you find that you can create things faster because of those honest conversations that you can have? We
were definitely able to talk to each other quite quickly about everything we'd just done, but we also definitely quite early had to instigate a no apologies rule, because we're all serial apologizers. So we'd play something, everyone would have been pushing it quite far and trying to just like really throw each other curveballs, some of which stuck and some of which didn't, and we'd get to the end and we'd all look up, smile, and then instantly start apologizing for everything we'd just done. I mean, we break that rule constantly as well, because it's going to get broken. We've definitely managed to have a lot of open conversations about moments that happened in the music and all that kind of stuff.
Ultimately, we all love improvising and we all want to get better at it. Everyone in the band kind of pushes each other to sort of new ground and challenges each other's limitations on their playing, but at the same time it's a very supportive atmosphere. So if you go for something, there's always going to be someone who's going to help you out whilst you're stretching out, or sometimes not, and it will all fall apart, but that's kind of part of the learning process. So I think the thing that excited me about this band when we started playing together is that kind of learning process, I guess. The idea that it was a project to just keep trying getting better and to move outside the comfort zone. This clip was taken from a gig we did back in October at the Hyde Park Book Club. It was a real pleasure to be playing in front of an audience again after a long time of not doing so. This is one of my favourite tunes to play, and it's entitled High Flyer.
that's all well and good having that ethos in a practice room. When the recording did happen, did you find yourselves kind of playing it a little bit safer so that it didn't go off the end of the cliff?
Absolutely not. For me, absolutely not.
If we tried to play it safe on the record, I don't think we'd have got anything sounding anywhere near as good, because it's not what we've practiced, you know.
That's the whole point of this music and this way of this approach to playing. We've all grown up studying the tradition and the great sax trios, and that is at the forefront of what this is about. That makes up the foundation.
I only asked that because the record doesn't sound like that at all. You know, it sounds really open, really free, and it really sort of stretches out, and you kind of go from these melodic or like, I don't want to say simple, but you know what I mean, these heads, sort of defined structures, and then all of a sudden it kind of takes you on a real journey, and then you're 8 minutes into it, you're like, whoa, where did we go?
That's a good sign, I guess.
We recorded in Sundown Studio in Leeds. Some studio sessions you kind of feel a bit sort of boxed away in your own little corner with the headphones on, and like feel kind of a bit cut off from the sort of interaction and the band dynamic. But recording in that place really helped.
Yeah, we've got to give thanks to Jack and Sean for just making that whole recording process really, really smooth and really welcoming and friendly, actually.
It felt like we were just kind of playing together in the rehearsal room. We just had a couple of screens for bleed up, but I think that kind of enabled us to carry what we were doing in the rehearsal space over to the recording process.
For me, jazz music lives in a live gig situation, and it's very difficult to then transfer that into a recording session. After you've gone through that whole recording process and you've got 600 different takes of the same song, how is it you sit down and go, that's the one? Because they all are totally different, and they're all. Is there any fights? Is there any discussion over it? Or is it generally a unified approach and like, no, guys, this was the one? Or is it like, yeah, but my drums sound shit and that, you know? That was sorry. That could have been anything, Steve. That could have been bass.
No,
or it could have been all the sax.
I mean, definitely bass.
I think that happens in anything, especially jazz music, that's so heavily weighted in the improvisation. There's always going to be elements which we're happy with, and there's elements that we're not. We just we left a bit of time in between being in the studio and the moment when we were there.
Yeah.
Trying to listen to it with fresh ears, really, because you always want to listen back to what you're doing. You're like, I need to know what happened, you know, because I was in the moment. I wasn't looking in from the outside. It's so easy to be so invested in what's just happened, to want to check that everything is okay. But the thing is it's always going to be different, because, like I said, you're listening and looking in on the moment from the outside, even though you've just been on the inside of it. It's always the relationship is always going to be different. There's always going to be something that one of us doesn't like.
I don't think we actually had that many times where it was like two people or one person was really happy with a take and someone was like, no, I dropped an absolute clanger in that though. I think we were fairly uniform on it. If it was happening, it was happening. I can think of maybe one example where I personally was like, I'm so sorry guys, but just no, not that one.
We spoke to each other and said, you know, let's try not to be doing take after take after take after take. We thought about how we wanted to record it. We thought about the order that we wanted to record the tunes in, you know, and we said, you know, let's just aim for 3 full takes. Some of the tracks can be, you know, are like 12 to 15 minutes long, you know, and you do 3 of those back to back, you know, that's the best part of an hour gone, and you're there concentrating for that whole amount of time.
It's an intense process doing it that way, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
A 3-take rule is really, really useful, especially when, you know, you guys have obviously been playing for such a long time. You know the tunes, you know the material. It's not a project, it's an actual band. So you can go into a studio situation and just be like, right, we just need to play. We just need to do this thing 3 times in the way that we know how to do it, and then forget about it and move on to the next thing. Because otherwise you come out the other side of the process, like you say, with, you know, 6, 7 different versions of the one tune that none of it means anything because there's so much to choose from.
Once you get to about the 3rd take, there's a really fine balance between like trying to make sure you're doing new ideas or different ideas, or being like, well, this thing worked, so I'm going to try and instigate that again, you know.
Yeah.
And as soon as you get to that point in this kind of music, I think it starts to lose its charm a little bit.
Because they started to sort of homogenize and become a little bit more settled or defined.
It's either homogenized or it's like trying to be distinct in a way that it doesn't necessarily need to.
We're now going to play the fourth track from the album. This is one of Anna's compositions. This one's called Oh No.
So, Anna, favourite track on the album?
Oh, don't make me do that.
What is your favourite child?
Okay. my favourite track. No, favorite track on the album, I think, is Mind Hoover.
Any reasons? You just rolled the dice, didn't you?
I think that's maybe my favourite one to play of all of them, actually.
Steve, favourite track on the album?
I think it's probably Dark Murmur, actually. And
mine too.
Yeah, it's just really exciting to play, and there's 2 sections, the second section's queued, but you never know when that's going to be, and it's quite a significant change, and there's a specific tag at the end, that in an ideal world needs to be nailed every time, and there's quite a lot of pressure. I really enjoy playing that because, I'm sort of kind of attracted to danger in a way, and there's a fair element of that when playing that tune. So yeah, definitely Dark Murmur. Yeah, definitely.
There's very few drum solos that I enjoy, and this isn't one of them, but it's a great track nonetheless. Sam, favorite track on the album?
I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna choose 2. I love playing Hiding Away. It's just beautiful and profound and open, and I enjoy the challenge of improvising freely. The shape and the contour of the piece is different every time, and every time we've played it live, it's just been really exciting. I feel like that's really one that kind of pushes the band. We'll play it live and feel like it's really, really happening, and the next performance we have to try and top that. So I feel like that's one that's kind of always raises the bar. I also love Dark Murmur. It's just bombastic and dangerous and difficult and kind of loose and open, but at the same time, rhythmic, and level of precision has to be there as well. So yeah, I've cheated and chosen 2. Well, I like all of them,
Anna, you've written most of the stuff on the record. Is there any particular themes or behind the music and behind the compositions?
I think a lot of the compositions I almost wrote more as vehicles for improvisation. Those I always end up giving like slightly whimsical titles that don't sound too, they're not punny or anything, but like they usually reflect where they've come from. Oh No, one of my tunes on the record, I realised like halfway through writing it that I just nicked a load of Mingus changes, so I named it Oh No because, one of my favourite albums of his is Oh Yeah. Dark Murmur, again, like halfway through writing it, I was like, I think it sounds like I'm trying to do a Mark Turner thing, so I just made it sound vaguely like that. But there's one tune on the record that really spoke to me, which was it's called Hiding Away. I can remember exactly when I wrote it. It was Pride 2 years ago, and I'm someone who gets pretty anxious a lot of the time. And sometimes I'll just wake up on a day and be like, right, I don't think I can really handle seeing anyone or speaking to anyone today. That was obviously a day where I felt like I should have been out, in the community and seeing people. And I kind of felt disappointed in myself. But like many people who, have some weird psychological problem that you're trying to like get through, I normally try and channel it into something. So once I found myself alone and not out at this thing, I just sat down at the piano to try and see if I could write anything, and came out with that. And it ended up being a bit of a journey of discovery for me. It started off with this like quite melancholic idea that by the end of it sort of transforms into this quite uplifting idea. I guess the theme of that is looking at parts of yourself that could be seen as weaknesses and trying to turn them into strengths. So that tune means quite a lot to me, actually. I was quite pleased with that. And these guys, just an absolute dream. I brought it in and it didn't really feel quite together. And as soon as I brought it to the guys, it just made perfect sense. Everyone's right there, really bringing it to the next level.
Going back to what we were saying before about you guys all being friends and knowing each other, having that personal relationship as well, it makes it, I guess, much easier to bring those really personal things into this band, to explore them. Next, we're going to have a watch of Hiding Away, which is I'm going to guess 4th track on the album. Maybe 3rd. And it's 5th. I
think it's the 6th. I think it's the last one, isn't it?
Oh well.
No, I think it's 5th.
I think it's 5th. Cliffhanger is the last one.
Oh, you're right. Bloody hell.
It's definitely a track between 1 and 6 on the album. The standard kind of release schedule for a band is, make your album, get it out there, tour it. That's the way musicians like yourselves are going to be able to promote records and promote themselves, and that's not possible. I mean, there must have been hundreds and hundreds of bands in a similar situation to yourself, all ready to go, and then everything got pulled. Is there anything you think that will come out of this process that might stick?
Nowadays, there's all this pressure to be submitting content, putting content out online, putting content for people to see, for people to engage with you, because that's the easiest way to engage your music to a wider audience across the world. Getting together to record things, to record videos, to learn a lot, to do this ourselves, instead of necessarily having to get like a huge team together to do stuff. We've all learnt a lot out of this process, and I'm sure this is something that we can apply to everything that we do.
It's a really beautiful thing to see people really striving to continue to create throughout this whole process. You've got places like Matt and Fred's doing their live streams. Got to give a big shout out to Adam and Nick, who put the live stream on at Cellar, a venue that we play quite a lot.
I guess a benefit of it is the potential reach. You can reach people from further afield, have people from all over the world potentially tuning into what you're doing.
I've had a lot of fun doing some of the live streams. Adam and Nick are the best two-person audience I've ever played to.
And you guys have played to a lot of two-people audiences.
A lot of the live streams in terms of audience numbers have been better than your average gig.
Yeah,
so I don't know if that's because people are watching from the comforts of their own homes. They're more inclined to tune in.
There is a certain ineffable quality to live performance that we all really cherish and really appreciate. Almost every gig, particularly every jazz gig I've done throughout that little in-between lockdown periods, was just incredibly well received by everyone. People were really up for it. Seeing
a live band and being in the same room as people playing music is it's a profound thing, and live streaming, as great as it has been over this period, can't replace that.
It's like everything that we've had to do in the last 12 months. It's not a replacement, but it's as good of an alternative as we can possibly have right now.
Yeah.
We all hope that we can get back to what we were doing before and how we were playing. But again, there's going to be a bit of a lag time there as well, because it just takes so long to book a tour. We had the dates in, we had everything ready to go. Obviously, loads of places want to reschedule, they want to put us on, they want to do things, and we're so thankful for that. And the support that we've had, over the last 12 months from promoters has been incredible, absolutely incredible.
What are the future plans for Shapeshifters in a post-COVID world?
Well, we've got more or less the material for another record.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly working on it and refining it to document where the band's at now. We're really happy with the record we made, but naturally the band has just moved on a bit, and we've all moved on personally. So get some new tunes down and do some playing further afield. Try and announce ourselves on the scene.
We were obviously in the process of booking a tour at the time for the album launch, so I'm really looking forward to getting this band into that situation where you're playing, quite extensively over a short period in a lot of different places, where you have to keep pushing the tunes you're playing further and further with each consecutive date.
We're now going to present to you one of the new tracks. This is another one of Anna's. This is titled Overwhelming.
thanks very much for joining us tonight, folks. Yeah. Thanks very much for joining us tonight. Thanks for joining us tonight, folks, for this live stream album launch. You can get Shapeshifters' new album on New Jazz Records at the link below, or newjazzrecords.co.uk. Find us Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that nonsense.
A big thanks to Jack Davis, who mixed the album, and Sean Williams, who owns Sundown Studio, and to Tim Thomas, who mastered the album.
We also want to pay special thanks to a dear friend and incredibly talented artist, Maria Alzamora, for the beautiful artwork that she's curated for the record. It's very special, so thank you so much.
Thank you to James Hamilton for hosting this interview,
Pleasure.
to asking us some insightful questions, and to releasing the record on the fantastic New Jazz Records. We're thrilled to be part of the amazing roster they have on there, and you should check out all the other artists on the label as well. And thank you for tuning in to our online album launch, and we hope you enjoy listening to the album.
Thanks very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks a lot.